do President Reagan and President Obama have in common? Our next guest studied the two candidates and their campaigns to find out what led them to victory. Is that the strategy the GOP needs in the next presidential election? Lance Tarrance is a Republican pollster and a political strategist. He's also the author of this new book. It's called How Republicans Can Win a Changing America. Good morning to you, Lance. Good to have you.
Steve, glad to be here.
So what did those two, FDR and Reagan, have in common?
Well, both presidential candidates could appeal to a lot greater group than just simply the Republican base. We know that. But what's interesting about the Obama situation now is that we're going to have a potential for a great blowback here in the 2014 congressional elections. We know midterm elections have lower turnout, more passionate voters, but it looks like the Republicans have a great opportunity to pull a number of congressmen in. Remember, it was just in 2010, not too many months ago, that Republicans gained over 60-some-odd congressmen, and that was because of the original inception of Obamacare.
Right, and now it's being instituted, and, you know, there's hell to pay here. You've got some lessons for the Republicans if they want to win. The first one is, you say, get off the social issues.
Well, the social issues are obviously important, but they shouldn't be in first or second place. It should be your third batter in the lineup in that instance. We've been debating and adjudicating the culture war since the 60s, and after 50 years, I think it's time to put it to rest. The culture is very strong and deep. It's maintained itself mostly. But let's get on to what the core Republican themes have been that have been successful in the past. National security, obviously fiscal sanity. And also, one of the things that have hurt the Republican Party of late is they failed to acknowledge some of the demographic shifts since Reagan was elected. We think we're the party of Reagan, but we better acknowledge that since 1980, Hispanics are now 10% of the total vote. They used to be 1%. Women are around 53% of the total vote. They used to be around 48%. Unions are less. White voters have gone from 90% to 70%. So this is a big change.
Well, I tell you what, Lance, in the last presidential election, Mitt Romney kept trying to bring it back to the economy, but the mainstream media kept saying, look, there's a war on women. Republicans hate women and binders and dancing horses.
Well, you have to go beyond the media if you can. Reagan certainly learned how to do that. And we are the party of Reagan in many antecedents. But the most important thing is the Republican Party has a great opportunity coming up in 2014 with this big congressional election. But one of the strategic errors they've made in the past, 2010 is a good example, and even 1996, after they won big with almost 50 congressmen in the 94 election, was that they didn't put it together with a presidential. I'm maintaining, and this book was written with a sense of historical urgency, that we better put a 3-year game plan together and not a 1-year congressional midterm election plan.
Speaking of congressional, you say that the Republican Party should pick candidates from outside Washington, D.C., so you're not talking about congressmen, you're talking about governors.
I don't want any more senators or congressmen on the ticket. We're going to have to be the outside party. We're not going to be the inside institutional party. The Republican Party needs to be the reform party. They need to be from outside. They need governors that have had not only executive experience, but also the idea that they've dealt with the federal government and all its pluses and minuses. That's the kind of person I think that would do well in this new age we're talking about.
If the Republicans follow your advice, can they win next time?
Next time meaning 14 or 16?
16.
Yes, they can, but they're going to have a very different strategy. And we called it the Reagan Revolution in 1980, the Gingrich Revolution in 1994. We better have some kind of a revolutionary appeal to the American public, because this will become a minority party for permanent, maybe decades to come, if they don't get their act together. Hispanic vote is the big one.
Absolutely, they've got another chance. All right, Lance, thank you very much.
Okay.
His book is called How Republicans Can Win in a Changing America.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.